being like hand fed that by somebody as a first impression, that would actually piss me the fuck off. Like, get your ass back in that limo and get the fuck out of my face and go home. I'm admittedly not a Bachelor and the Bachelorette girly at all, okay? Because I feel like it's very soap opera-esque to me, and it's very like whimsical, hopeless, romantic, and I don't like that kind of reality TV. I like the drama, okay? But one of my clients did convince me to start watching this season of The Bachelor. She was like, no, you gotta watch it. The Bachelor, he's really cute. You have to watch it, and then you have to make videos about it. So here I am. And plus, I did need something to kind of tie me over until Love Island starts this summer. So yes, here we are. We are going to be recapping season 29 of The Bachelor. By the way, you guys, you know, I had to put on this like red rose wrap dress like for the occasion, but this dress is way too small on me, okay? I've had this dress for a couple of years, and I put it on right now and I was like, oh my God, it's a size extra small and I am not an extra small anymore. Don't judge me if you see my arms busting out of this dress like a busted can of biscuits, but it will be on my Postmark later if you're interested, if you're an extra small and you're interested. I'll leave that linked down below. But I think I can make it work as long as I don't like move my arms in this direction, or as long as I don't inhale too deeply. For the first episode, obviously we get the introductions of all the girls and the Bachelor, who is Grant. He's from Houston. He's 31 years old, and he played basketball like his entire life, and now he's a day trader. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Like something with stocks? I don't know. Allegedly, he's supposed to be like really successful or something. When I first saw the previews for this and I saw his little interview where he's like, I'm Grant, and, you know, doing that whole thing. To be honest, when it came across my feed on Facebook and something about like his mouth area, I was like, he seems like he's gay, which I know that's just me judging a book by its cover. You can never tell what somebody's sexual orientation is, obviously, by looking at them. But hear me out, okay? I call it like a twinkle in their eye. Like you can kind of tell like when a guy is gay, because in my mind, I call it like they have like a certain twinkle in their eye, like without them even being like overly feminine or anything like that. They just have like a certain twinkle in their eye, right? So I saw the video and I was like, oh, he seems like kind of like gay, which if he is, that's fine, or bisexual, whatever. Okay, just for the record, like, please don't cancel me for saying this. But then I read the comments and other people were saying that, and I was like, oh my gosh, okay, so I'm not the only one. It's just a first impression on camera. Like you never, in a little clip, you never know what somebody's actual vibe is. And so when I started watching last night, I was like, what was I even thinking? Because I don't see that at all. Isn't that weird? How, especially like with filming and editing, you can kind of get a different vibe from somebody. But did anybody else notice that in like the promo clips, specifically on Facebook? Because I checked again on Instagram and people weren't saying that, but on Facebook people were like, oh, I hope he finds his husband, things like that. And so anyway, so that was my first impression. But then, so yeah, it looks like he comes from a really great family. His parents are really cute, and his grandma is really cute. And I know I saw at the end of the episode, I guess his grandma had passed away, and so it had like a rest in peace kind of thing. He does have an older sister. Grant's growing up story was kind of sad. You know, his parents divorced after 30 years, which is a very, very long time, which makes me sad too, because I feel like if you divorce after 30 years, like I know that his mom was probably putting in work on that marriage, trying to like make it work, because, and this is all just like my assumptions, but you know, because the dad struggled with an addiction and everything, I just feel like, oh my gosh, that's kind of sad for you to be married for that long and then you divorce. So his story is very sad, but you know, it has a happy ending where his dad is clean from drugs and they have a good relationship, and you know, he's very close with his family. So we get to the part where we're meeting all the girls, and I must say all the girls are really pretty. From what I've seen, I think that the Bachelor and the Bachelorette are pretty good at finding good looking people. I appreciate the fact that they are girls who look like pretty regular girls instead of people who are like overly, you know, Botox filler surgery and all that kind of thing. And to each their own. Before you go trying to cancel my ass, I have a lot of internet trauma. People have like ripped my ass to shreds because I've said certain things like that, you know, about like the BBL girly, to each their own. But I'm sorry that I think that you look good with your natural thin lips. Like, I'm sorry that I think that it's okay for you to have a small butt. Like, I'm sorry. Like, my bad. And I'm not against plastic surgery. Like, I am pro plastic surgery. But sometimes on these like reality shows, it can just be like you have the BBL, like the huge like plastic boob job that's up to here, like the big overfilled lips, like the Botox and all this stuff, and you're 20 years old. But I think that people are starting to come to their senses now about plastic surgery and stuff like that. So I'm just saying it's refreshing to see girls who aren't like overly enhanced. I have my notes here that I took about each of the girls, so I'm going to tell you what I think about everybody. So first up, we have Rose, who I said she's like corny and awkward, but who knows, he might be into that kind of thing. She's like not necessarily one of my favorites, but she seems like a very nice girl and everything. But it's just like, I don't know, she makes me like like cringe uncomfortably. That's just me. Okay, next we have Latia, and she is a girl who, whenever they show clips of the girls like back home, I kind of know like, okay, he's gonna pick them to stay, because ain't no way production is gonna go fly to like Oklahoma or something to go film a girl with her family and then pay for that and not like recoup their money. Oh, she's from Utah, I think, because she said that she was Mormon. So she was born in Hawaii, and her dad is Hawaiian. He passed away when she was only 3 months old, which is very sad. And she lives, I guess, I'm assuming in Utah, just because she says she's Mormon, even though Mormon people live everywhere. They live here. They live here in LA. They knock on my freaking door every couple of weeks. Like, damn. Like, I was gonna make a bad joke, but let me shut the fuck up. Latia, like I said, she's cute and all, but she kind of freaks me out. Like, she's very like intense. Like, she's very intense, but apparently, you know, he likes that. Okay, Janae, her introduction was so awkward. Janae is the girl who plays basketball, right? And she came out of the limo and she like put powder or something in her hands, and she was like, "Are you ready?" I guess to do like a big, I don't know, like glitter introduction, but it wasn't glitter. It was like baby powder or something. I don't freaking know. Is that a basketball thing? It looked like it was like that powder that gymnasts use, like before they like, you know, whatever that shit is called. But yeah, it was very awkward. But she seemed like a very nice girl. Like, she would make a great friend. Carolina, I really liked her. I really liked her. She's a girl who's from Puerto Rico. Later in the show, when she's like talking with him and stuff, she like starts crying and whatever. Her vibes give me this. Okay, for those of you guys who have watched The Sopranos, which I'm like watching it currently for the millionth, the trillionth time probably. So you guys might during this series get like a mashup between The Bachelor and The Sopranos. No, but she gives me Gloria Trillo from The Sopranos. And if you don't know what that is, then you just have to look it up. So Allie Joe from New Jersey, she's cute. There wasn't anything necessarily like memorable for me to say. Dina from Chicago. So she's the girl who is the attorney. I think she said her parents immigrated here from Romania, if I'm not mistaken. And she's one of 11 kids, which sounds like a fucking nightmare for her parents. Like, maybe, I mean, I have a bunch of siblings too, okay? And growing up, it was cool and all. But as an adult, I have 2 kids, and I'm like, that sounds like a freaking nightmare. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I admire her ambition, because for somebody to come from like parents of immigrants and to be one of 11 children, that's pretty impressive to make it to the point of being an attorney. Because I feel like unless you, who knows, like maybe her parents are freaking rich, but unless you come from like a wealthy background, being one of 11 kids in this day and age, like it's just giving me poverty, you know what I'm saying? And so good for her, for if that even is her background, that they weren't like, that they were kind of poor, maybe, I'm guessing, maybe, I don't freaking know, but good for her for making it this far. So the Indian girl Radhika, I don't know, she's very cute, she's adorable, but she made me cringe so hard with the freaking Bollywood dance. And she was very like, she's very like so awkward. Like, her face was like this. Like, you know, like I was like, oh my gosh, make it stop, please make it stop, please make it stop. And I could just tell that he was like, the fuck? But I did go on her TikTok after, like before I started making this video. And she seems like a good time. She seems like a blast, but she's just very, she has those eyes. She has like those Ramona Singer eyes, like those, where it's just like, what the fuck are you thinking? Respectfully, love her. She seems very cute, very fun, very nice, a very good girl, very demure, very mindful. Alicia or Alicia, I don't know how she pronounces it. I just wrote that she's cute, which she is, and I'll get more into her later on. Beverly, the would-be Miss Dominican Republic. I don't know what the fuck that means. She's like, I almost ran for Miss Dominican Republic. I like her. All I have to say about her though is I like her boobs. I want to like get a picture printed and like go to a doctor and be like, this is what I want. Like this is what I want, okay? Not to objectify her at all, but I'm saying it like as a compliment. That is like totally like boobspiration. Like I need to print out a picture and take it to a doctor. That's exactly what the fuck I want. First impression of Alex is that she was weird, which, you know, came out to be true, but I think she was weird in like a good way, like quirky. That's a better word. She strikes me as quirky, and also she strikes me as this. When I first saw her without her speaking or anything, first of all, doesn't she look like Karuchi, Chris Brown's ex? She strikes me as the kind of girl who, like, she doesn't get like all made up. She just like, her hair is down. It's always the same way. She's a wash and go girly, like, because she doesn't know how to do her hair. She doesn't wear makeup because she doesn't know how to do her makeup. And then she like went on The Bachelor, and then, you know, she has to put on a formal gown because that's like what you do. She's one of the girls that do this. Like they go get their makeup done, and they only get their makeup done because it's like a wedding or something like that. Or they're in a wedding, like something like that. And she's like, I just want eye makeup. I don't want anything else. Like she doesn't wear foundation or concealer or anything else. Or else she's this, she doesn't wear any makeup at all. But then when she wants a little razzle dazzle, she'll just wear lipstick and nothing else. Like no foundation, no concealer, no mascara, like no eyeshadow, like just nothing but lipstick. Do you know the kind of girl that I'm talking about? Do you know the kind of girl that I'm talking about? And I'm saying this not in a bad way. Like it's just a certain type of girl. And then if anything, like I'm saying, like I don't have that kind of confidence. Like because there's a certain confidence behind these girls too. Like they don't do all this like glamorous stuff because they don't know how to, nor do they care. But they appreciate and like respect the girls who are into it, but they just don't care. They're the kind of girls, like, you know, I'm a little bit, do clubs even exist anymore? Like poor Gen Z, like you guys didn't get to go to clubs and stuff. But anyway, that's another video for another time. But like the kind of girlies where back in the day I used to go to the club, and you know I used to like go all out, or else I'm going to Vegas, like going, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna go all out, okay? And the kind of girls who like they don't have their nails painted, they don't have their toenails painted, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna put on a club dress and go as is. Like, let's go have fun, let's go have a blast, and they don't care. That kind, like confidence through the freaking roof. And I'm not even saying that in a sarcastic way. But she struck me as that. So I was like, she has an interesting kind of vibe. And then she was like kind of quirky and everything. So I was like, okay, I like her. Like her bringing up the llama and everything like that, and her being like kind of nerdy. I like her. I liked her vibe. Like I loved it. Juliana, the cannoli girl. That cannoli, when they bit into that cannoli, like the crunch of it was like so ASMR vibes. I loved it, okay, but it was kind of awkward. She's like not one of my standout girls, but apparently production must have liked her because they showed like a whole clip of her at home and everything, and then her trauma from like being cheated on over and over by an ex, which is like traumatic as fuck. Like I think as a society we need to, I mean, I don't think people really normalize cheating, but I think people who are like that, who chronically cheat on people, I mean they just, like there's something wrong with them. Like there's actually like you need to go to prison. Like you need to be fucking locked. You need to go to a psych ward. You need to go to prison. Like you need to go to a mental hospital and be like locked up forever because there's something actually wrong with you. Like why would you do that to a person over and over and over? And I think that as a society we need to like acknowledge like the trauma that could cause, and like the mind, like that changes your freaking brain chemistry. So I definitely feel for her in that in that manner. Next, we have Chloe, who I forgot where she's from, but she is a plus size model and I love her vibe. I think she's gorgeous. She kind of like reminds me of my mom in a way. Like she has like the same vibe and everything as my mom. It's weird. And I know you guys don't know who my mom is, but that's just what I thought in my head, right? And I also respect her for the fact that she said, you know, she was a model as a teen and then she moved to New York and they wanted to make her like, they told her like, oh, lose 30 pounds and be like a size 0 model. And she was just like, no, I'll just be a plus size model. And like, there was no struggle. There was no fight. And she was like, I'll never be a size 0. And I love that because that's another thing that I've like spoken about, I think at some point, is that like, it's okay. I've always, you know what? You know what's so funny to me? Not to like trauma dump on you guys, but like I've been on the internet, I've been here off and on for like several years, and I've been freaking like had my ass handed to me on the internet for saying things like not everybody like I basically saying things like that it's okay to be what the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Only now people are waking up to the idea of like actually like accepting yourself, whereas before, you know, people be like, well, you don't understand because you and it's like, bitch, that's beyond the point, okay? There's certain things that you are not like meant to be. Like certain bodies are not meant to be a fucking size 0 unless you want to be like live your whole entire life on the brink of death because you constantly have to starve yourself and be malnourished just to fit into like a size small. What's the point of that? Like live your life, enjoy yourself, eat food, be freaking happy. But anyway, that's me going off on a tangent. But anyway, love her vibe. So next we have Bailey, who is a social media like manager, I believe she said. I like her and I like her vibe. She's not my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. She kind of like annoys me a little bit. Like I'm just, you guys know me. I have to be, I have to keep it 100. She does kind of annoy me a little bit. But you know, like it's not a big deal. Like I annoy lots of people. Like it's fine, whatever. Like not everybody's cup of tea. But she seems nice enough, and she has like a very bubbly vibe and everything. She seems like, you know, a blast. But I will say, as a hairdresser, okay, I want to reimagine her haircut so badly because it's not giving what she probably wants to give, or maybe she does want to give this. What her haircut is giving me is giving Hillary Clinton, okay? I want to reimagine it to give something different. So next we have Rebecca, and my first impression of her honestly was that she looked a little bit cuckoo, a little kooky, you know, not quirky, but like actually kooky. Like, girl, what is going on behind those eyes, girl? I don't know. But again, she's one of the girls that we didn't get much about, so I'm just going off of just like judging a book by its cover. But spoiler alert, she did end up getting a rose, so maybe there must have been something about her that he liked. Okay, Christina. Oh my gosh, so this is the girl. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Like imagine if she sees this video. I don't have anything necessarily to say about her, but she didn't leave an impression at all on me. I even reading her name right now, Christina, I was like, who is that, you know? So mean. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Christina, if you're watching this, which you're probably not. I'm sorry, girl. But you just didn't necessarily. This isn't. You know, there's somebody else out there for you in another time and place, right? And I will say, I did note that he actually did look kind of bored, like even saying hi to her. So I was like, oh, that can't be good. But Nisi, the pediatrician, she's cute, but she did seem kind of like corny, as I said. Oh my gosh, the medical school people and the doctors, yeah, the doctors of the world who are watching this are gonna like be on my dome about this, but I said, Nisi, pediatrician is cute but corny, as many med school people are. Respectfully, look, we all have stereotypes, okay? Like I have to hear the stereotypes about being a hairdresser all the time, okay? So it's fine. Look, I love doctors, I respect them. But a lot of them, most of the time, they have like a certain vibe where it's like, oh, you have spent like the past, like, you know, 20 hours a day for the past 10 years in school studying, and it shows. All right. Kaylee is cute. Who the fuck? Oh, Kaylee is cute. Yeah, she looked like she was like the mixed girl with like blonde curly hair. Okay, Savannah, she's very pretty, and I thought that the wedding cake, she's a girl with a wedding cake. Okay, she's a wedding planner. She came in like with a wedding cake. Okay, and she's very cute. I thought she was like so pretty, but she did start to annoy me with the cake. Let me give an example. Like she was giving this a lot. That was exhausting. Oh, shit. She's giving that, but a little bit worse. I felt like she was like walking into rooms and like, and like almost tipping over a lot. And it's like, girl, like if you don't put that damn cake down. Next, we have Vicky, the bottle girl. She's cute. She didn't necessarily give me like a strong impression. But the thing that I noticed about her segment is I did not appreciate how when she rolled up in the limo, I didn't appreciate how Dina and like some of the other girls, but I think specifically Dina, she was like this, like, she's a bottle girl. And that triggered me so badly. And I'm pretty sure it was Dina who said that, because if it wasn't, then I'm going to take back everything that I am about to say right now. That triggered me so badly because I cannot stand a person who looks down on somebody because of whatever they do for a job, okay? And it's like, okay, yeah, she's like in her 20s, she's a bottle girl. Like, I'm sorry, she's not an attorney or a doctor or whatever the fuck. And that triggers me personally. And yes, I am like projecting right now because I've had very many times in my life where people have been like, oh my God, like you're a hairdresser, or they'll speak to me a certain way and say little like snide remarks, or I'll speak to me in a manner in which they think that I must be a fucking idiot because I chose to be a hairstylist instead of something else. That really pissed me off. Dina's on my shit list because I did notice like, and maybe it's because after that, like a switch went off in my brain, because I did notice like during the rest of the time, like certain looks that she would have and everything. I was like, you're that type of girl. Like, oh, you're that type of girl. Okay. Lastly, we have Zoe, who is the one who came in like with a little am I allowed to say GUN on YouTube? I don't know. It's so censored, but with the little GUN, that like SHOOT's t-shirts, you know, like into a crowd. And I thought that was a cute idea, but I wasn't like a huge fan of her. She just seemed very like awk, you know what I mean? And not like in a cute way, but like an awkward way. But you know, love her to death. She's cute, whatever. So next we have the segment where they're like sitting down, chatting with each other, getting to know each other. And of course, we only get like certain clips. So it's during this time that Bailey, the girl with like the Hillary Clinton bob. Oh my gosh. I don't want her to be known as that. I'm really not trying to pick on her or anything, but it's just, oh my gosh. As a hairdresser, sometimes I see certain like hairstyles and I just imagine in my head, like, okay, I would just cut this piece right here, or else I would have weaved this type of pattern for her highlights or whatever. You know, I'm a visual person, okay? I hated that she brought like a similar wig for him to wear and made him try it on. Like, I get it, she's trying to be funny and whatever, but it was very awkward and it made me cringe so hard. And then he's like, oh, can I take it off? I don't feel like he was like totally feeling that vibe. Just my opinion. But yeah, I just thought it was like, girl, I'm all for the weirdness, but that was just a little bit like too much. I think I skipped Parisa in my introductions, but I think she's probably my favorite. I think that she's my favorite. I feel like we would totally be friends because she is weird in a good way. I like the pretty, funny, weird girls, quirky girls. I like that. Or else I like the villain girls. I love that she was laying on the floor of her apartment, introducing all of her crystals. And I loved her PowerPoint presentation of showing him like what their life was going to be like. So I like Alicia and her background story about how she didn't know her dad, and then her mom was an immigrant who like scrubbed floors and everything so that way she could like raise her and her sister. I felt like they were connecting, right? I felt like they were connecting, and then lo and behold, she ended up being the first girl to kiss him. So next we have Carolina, where, you know, she's the girl from Puerto Rico, where she's like sitting down talking to him, talking about how she's not an only child, but all of her siblings are a lot older than her, so she was kind of like raised almost like an only child. And so she starts tearing up thinking about like, you know, my parents are my everything, so I don't know what I'm gonna do, and they pass away and everything. And she was like so embarrassed that she was crying, and I felt bad that she was so embarrassed that she was crying. And I can relate to that sometimes. Like, I'm the type of person where if I cry in front of somebody, like I'll apologize because I feel bad, like, oh sorry, I didn't mean to kill the vibe by crying. I feel like Carolina has like a certain like toughness about her, like a certain wall up. I'm interested to find out more about her. But yeah, I just felt bad that she felt bad for crying. Like, I think that it was okay. Like, he wasn't weird about it. So next we have the segment where his sister pops up, but people don't know that it's his sister. She looks like him with a wig and a dress on. In the beginning where it was showing his family and everything, I did kind of get kind of red flags from her. Like, she seemed like she might be one of those type of sisters where she's like super protective of her brother for like no apparent reason. But then when she did sit down with the girls and talk to them, I was like, okay, she seems like she might be like cooler than I thought she was going to be. Next, we have Alex talking to him. She's a speech therapist, the llama girl. Okay, now we have llama girl talking to him, and they do this little exercise where she's like teaching him some like French sentences, and I thought that it was so cute. And also his French is actually very good. It's très bien, okay? He does also end up kissing Alex too. He kissed like a bunch of girls. I think he kissed like 7 girls, and I was like, okay, by the end of the night. So for me, Alex was definitely a favorite, like for sure. The girl who I wrote down, the smell the flowers exercise was actually very helpful. I don't even know her name off the top of my head. Oh my god. But the girl who, what does she do? She says that she like works with kids. I don't know exactly what she does, but she works with kids, and she's like, we're gonna do a breathing exercise. We're gonna breathe in and smell the roses, and exhale and blow out the birthday candles. And I was like, wow, the visual of that and everything was actually very helpful. Okay, like I'm gonna use that next time I'm pissed off. He sits down with Rose, which was the first girl, which I said like she's kind of like awkward to me, and so she's like, oh, we're gonna have our little ghost with Demi Moore and was it Patrick Swayze? So she's like, yeah, we're gonna have our little ghost moment because in that movie, like they do like pottery together and it's like all romantic or something. Let's blindfold each other and then we're gonna like make something out of clay. And so she starts molding this thing out of clay. And I swear I cannot be the only one who thought that this freaking clay looked like a big old freaking wiener. Am I allowed to say wiener? It looked like a big freaking like horse wiener hanging. It was just like, she's like, oh, I'm gonna make mine into a ring. I was thinking a ring that could fit into your finger, but then she starts molding this like long thing, swinging it around, doing all this kind of stuff, and then she makes it like a big ring. I was like, oh. They ended up kissing, so that was cute, I guess. So then at the end of the night, he gives away his first impression rose to Alex, which I could totally see why. I didn't necessarily think that they would like mesh romantically, but I think that they do. Like as a show went on, I was like, okay, they actually do, which just goes to show that you never know. Like, have you ever met somebody where you're like, I don't get them as a couple, because you're just basing it off of like just like superficial things or something like that. Like you really never know somebody's like inner world and why they choose the people that they do. At the end of the night, the girls who went home. Okay, so Janae went home, the girl who plays basketball, and I think that I'm a Reddit girly. I am like in the forums on Reddit, like reading through everything, right? And I think that a lot of people were shocked that Janae went home just because she plays basketball. And you guys have to understand this. I feel like a lot of times we assume that just because like somebody has something in common, like again, like it's like, oh, he plays basketball, so does she. He likes football, oh, she loves football and she like knows everything about football. He plays guitar, like whatever the fuck the thing is. I feel like a lot of times we think like, oh my gosh, like how could he not be interested in you? That you guys would be a match made in heaven and whatever because you guys do the same sport or whatever. And she's a nice enough girl and whatever, she's pretty, all that kind of stuff. But you guys have to understand that just because you guys might be into the same thing or into the same sport or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that they will make like good romantic partners. Something that I noticed about like male psychology, a lot of times with men, if they are not like attracted to you, especially physically, okay, if they're not attracted to you physically, it doesn't matter that you play basketball or that you like basketball too. And furthermore, I feel like sometimes when a guy might be like, oh, like she's perfect for me because she plays basketball and this and that, I think that they don't know what they're talking about. I think that they're actually attracted to her like physically or in other aspects, but it's mainly physically. Like guys are like very visual, very physical. Okay, it is what it is. They're attracted to her in other ways, and then the basketball thing is just the cherry on top that makes it seem like they're like meant to be and whatever, but then they might not be compatible in other ways, but it's just like because they're physically attracted to the girl, but they're just so like stupid that they just can't differentiate. So yeah, Christina went home. Who is Christina? Oh my God, I did it again. I did it again. Who is Christina? Again, she didn't leave an impression. I'm sorry. And it's not her fault. It's fine. Like, I feel like Christina is going to meet somebody in her hometown in Oklahoma. Okay. I don't know why I always have to say Oklahoma, not somewhere else, not North Dakota or any of these other like flyover type of states. It's always Oklahoma. It just rolls off the tongue so beautifully. Oklahoma. The Bollywood dancer girl, Radhika, she went home. Not surprised there. But she seemed to be a champ about it. Kaylee, salsa girl, went home. I'm not shocked about that because it's like, don't like bring me some like warm like paste salsa with some like Tostitos chips out of the limo and make me like take a bite out of it. Like, actually, that would piss me off. Like, I just thought about the sensation of it, like eating, like dipping a Tostito chip, stale Tostito chip, into like some room temperature salsa, and then being like hand fed that by somebody as a first impression. Like, that would actually piss me the fuck off. Like, get your ass back in that limo and get the fuck out of my face and go home. And then Kelsey also went home. I might be missing somebody because I noticed as I'm going through my notes that I think I missed some introductions. So Kelsey, I think she's like, she looks like she's a mixed girl, a mixed or black girl who has like the like curly, like blonde hair. I did really feel bad for Janae because she was like crying and everything. As I keep saying, I am not a bachelorette girly. I'm not a bachelorette girly, but I'm actually excited to watch this. And I'm so excited because, and you know, I have been looking for a show to kind of like tie me over. I need something right now. So this is like, this kind of like revitalized me, like, like I feel like, okay, I have something to look forward to weekly. Which sounds like very dark, but if I'm not here, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok and Facebook and other places on the internet. That sounds so ominous, right? If I'm not here, I'm there. And check out my Poshmark closet. I don't have a ton of things there, but I am trying to like declutter clothes, including this freaking tight-ass dress, which is cute. Okay, I'm just like, I can't fit it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys will see me in my next video. Bye.